Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Join us as we dive into the world of Disastrous Necromancer, where we'll unravel the mysteries of Lin Moyu's quest to become the strongest. From hidden secrets to epic battles, we're here to give you an exclusive look at the story before anyone else. If you're a fan of fantasy, necromancers, or just love a good adventure, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like, comment, and share to support the channel, and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a chapter. Let's start the journey.
Bright yellow lightning wreaked havoc among the undead legion, its power immense. Even with damage reduction by millions of times, it still exceeded the damage threshold. Lin. Facing the yellow lightning, the innate abilities lost their effect. Whether it was the Death Knights or the skeletal dragons, as long as they touched the bright yellow lightning, they would instantly collapse. The power of the lightning was too great to be blocked. Moreover, the most troublesome part was that the lightning would automatically seek the next target. After destroying one target, it would quickly move to the next. The lightning was extremely fast, comparable to the speed of light. Before the first target had even collapsed, the lightning had already attacked the next target. By the time the first target collapsed, the lightning had already passed through hundreds or thousands of targets. From a distance, a bright yellow chain appeared in the undead legion, formed by the afterimages of the lightning. In less than a second, over 10,000 undead were killed. Such a strong attack. It seems to contain a trace of the power of rules, as expected of a Beyond Realm star beast. Lin Moyu watched this scene, knowing he couldn't stop it. Now he could only rely on the advantage of numbers to delay. As for how long he could delay, he wasn't sure. He calculated the time. Reinforcements would arrive in another 40 minutes. No matter what, he had to hold on for those 40 minutes. The sharp horn of the yellow sand giant beast lit up again, and another lightning bolt flew out. 2 bolts of lightning wreaked havoc among the undead legion, doubling the killing speed. Lin Moyu had a bad premonition. If it were just 1 bolt of lightning, he wouldn't worry. He had enough undead legion for the opponent to kill. 2 bolts of lightning were also acceptable. But if there were a third, a fourth. No matter how many undead he had, it wouldn't be enough for the opponent to kill. Moreover, the yellow sand giant beast might have other means. A Beyond Realm star beast, even just one eye is so terrifying. I can't sit and wait for death. I must turn passive into active. There's still 40 minutes. I must hold on. Lin Moyu was very clear about his goal, to hold on for 40 minutes. But he also knew that with his combat power, it was impossible to fight against the yellow sand giant beast. Relying on the advantage of numbers might allow him to hold on, but it wasn't entirely safe. If the lightning continued to increase, no amount of undead would be enough. Once the number of undead was insufficient to surround the yellow sand giant beast, it would break through, and he would be in danger. He had to consider all possibilities. Lin Moyu felt a headache, realizing this was an extremely difficult battle. The yellow sand giant beast had considerable intelligence and had made full preparations. If he hadn't suddenly intervened, it would have broken free by now. He had become a variable, but it seemed the yellow sand giant beast wouldn't give up easily. The battle had reached this point. It was a life and death struggle for the yellow sand giant beast as well. If it failed, once the human Beyond Realm experts arrived, it would have no chance to break free. Lin Moyu could imagine that both sides had reasons they couldn't afford to fail, and their wills were incredibly firm. Since that was the case, he could only fight to the end. He quickly formulated a battle plan in his mind, and the undying lich appeared beside him. Gray halos appeared under the feet of all the undead, giving them an extra chance to revive. In the few seconds Lin Moyu was thinking, the sharp horn of the yellow sand giant beast shot out another lightning bolt. 3 bolts of bright yellow lightning wreaked havoc among the undead legion, killing large numbers of undead every moment. The undead closest to the yellow sand giant beast had already died several times, exceeding the revival chances provided by the undying lich and the undying necromancer. They truly died, unable to revive again. The Death Knights and skeletal dragons bore the brunt, and their positions were quickly filled by others after they died. The undead legion still firmly surrounded the yellow sand giant beast, absolutely not allowing it to break through. Lin Moyu dispersed the skeleton generals, turning them back into 3 types of basic skeletons. Here, the combat power of the skeleton generals was of no use. Lin Moyu needed numbers, as many as possible. With a point of his finger, new skeletal dragons and death knights appeared in the void. The number of dead skeletal dragons and death knights had exceeded 500,000 and needed replenishment. The spell linkage was activated, and Lin Moyu only needed to summon once. As long as the summoning quota wasn't exhausted, the summoning would continue without his interference. However, the summoning speed couldn't keep up with the killing speed of the undead legion. It could only be said that summoning was better than not summoning. Using the Undead Legion as a meat shield to block the yellow sand giant beast was just the first step. Then Lin Moyu began the second step. He took out a piece of flesh, which came from the God Sovereign of the Three Silver Clan. It was his only piece of God Sovereign flesh. Although he knew it wouldn't be very useful, it was better than nothing. Locking onto the yellow sand giant beast, he pointed his finger, and red light spread. Fusion spell, Time Curse. The curse was activated, but the yellow sand giant beast didn't feel much. At its soul level, the curse had little effect. Lin Moyu knew this, but he just wanted to add some damage, even if it was just a little. Then his finger glowed, and he activated another origin spell, Strong Soldier. Lin Moyu's aura surged, rapidly breaking through the God Sovereign level, then the first stage, the second stage, and reaching the third stage. Breaking through to the third stage of the God Sovereign was Lin Moyu's limit. He knew that if he dared to break through to the fourth stage, his soul would instantly collapse. The soul power of the third stage of the God Sovereign was injected into the soul bow, and a purple gold arrow condensed on the bow. The arrow emitted a powerful aura, and the strong soul pressure spread throughout the battlefield. Even the formation could hardly resist it. The God Kings inside the formation were all trembling with fear. Lin Moyu's strength had long exceeded their imagination, completely beyond their understanding. Is this really something a God King can do? A God King fighting a God Sovereign, am I dreaming? How did he do it? How can he be so powerful? Unprecedented. Lin Moyu was unaware of their exclamations. At this moment, all his energy and spirit were focused on the arrow. Through the origin spell, Lin Moyu elevated his realm to the limit. He injected as much soul power as possible into the soul bow, condensing the strongest arrow. With the soul realm of the Beyond Realm and the soul power of the third stage of the God Sovereign, combined with the tenfold damage amplification of the origin spell, even a fifth stage God Sovereign would be instantly killed by this arrow. But this was not enough. This was not the final form of the arrow. The power of faith surged out, as if it were free, pouring into the arrow. The most magical aspect of the power of faith is that it can amplify any spell, any law, any attack. When 10,000 units of the power of faith were poured in, the power of the soul arrow doubled. When 30,000 units of the power of faith were poured in, the power of the soul arrow increased by twofold. When all 60,000 units of the power of faith were poured in, the power of the soul arrow increased by threefold. The more the amplification, the more the power of faith required. 60,000 units of the power of faith at least tripled the strength of the soul arrow. And this was calculated on the basis of the amplification by the origin spell. The purple gold soul arrow became even more dazzling. Looking at the soul arrow felt like staring directly at a star from a close distance. The golden patterns on it were extremely beautiful, yet exuded a murderous aura. But this was still not the end. Lin Moyu drew runes in midair, one complex high-level rune after another was drawn by him. Soul Extinguishing Rune. A high-level rune recorded in the rune language, targeting the soul, capable of causing great damage to the soul. It can be used alone or attached to any soul attack. The rune flew into the soul arrow, and the golden patterns on the soul arrow seemed to come alive, exuding an even stronger murderous aura. In the grand formation, several god kings watching Lin Moyu screamed in agony. They clutched their heads, crying out in pain, their eyes tightly shut, blood flowing from their eyes. Their faces were filled with terror, not daring to look at Lin Moyu again. What kind of arrow is this, so terrifying? Just looking at it feels like my soul is being pierced. This arrow is too terrifying. It can easily kill even a god sovereign. He is clearly only at the fifth stage of the God King. How can he condense such a terrifying arrow? He is using a soul treasure of the God Sovereign realm, and he has also added the power of faith. Not only that, he has also added runes, and I see it's a high-level rune. To be able to wield a soul treasure of the God Sovereign realm, his soul must be at least of the 4th grade. As long as this guy doesn't die, achieving the God Sovereign realm is a piece of cake. At this moment, all the God Kings present were completely in awe of Lin Moyu. Possessing a powerful soul, powerful spells, powerful treasures, and also mastering runes and an astonishing amount of the power of faith. Lin Moyu's performance was nearly perfect. Such a person had limitless potential in the future, far beyond their reach. The God Kings present, and even the small God Sovereigns, could not feel any jealousy towards Lin Moyu. Because Lin Moyu had completely surpassed them, making it impossible for them to feel jealous. The powerful soul arrow was truly formed, and it could be said to be Lin Moyu's strongest strike. If this strike didn't work, Lin Moyu had no other options. The soul locked onto the yellow sand giant beast, which was firmly trapped by the Undead Legion's relentless and fearless attacks, unable to escape. The fifth bolt of lightning appeared, and 5 bolts of bright yellow lightning wreaked havoc together, killing countless Undead Legion members every second. But more Undead Legion members would immediately take their place, leaving no gaps. The yellow sand giant beast was covered with fearless skeletons. Although their attacks had no effect, they continued to attack, raining down like a storm. Even if I can't kill you, I'll make you feel pain. Lin Moyu pointed his finger, and the bone hell descended, enveloping the yellow sand giant beast. The bright yellow lightning wreaked havoc in the bone hell, piercing through it in less than half a second. But it didn't matter. Lin Moyu only needed a mark. The bone hell marked the yellow sand giant beast, and the soul followed, locking onto it. In this way, the soul bow's arrow would definitely hit. The yellow sand giant beast seemed to sense the threat, its eyes showing unease. The purple gold light pierced through the void, penetrating the yellow sand giant beast and stabbing into its soul. A heaven-shaking scream echoed throughout the entire star system. The flowing yellow sand in the star system suddenly paused. This arrow was too strong and fierce. Lin Moyu had used all his trump cards, making this arrow powerful enough to kill a 6th-stage god sovereign. As long as the soul was not at the Beyond Realm, it would be injured or even killed by this arrow. The yellow sand giant beast was once a Beyond Realm giant beast, and its soul was undoubtedly at the Beyond Realm. In its prime, it could completely ignore Lin Moyu's arrow. But not now. The current yellow sand giant beast was far from its former self, and its soul was just a remnant. This arrow caused it enough damage, making it extremely painful, and its aura instantly weakened. The bright yellow lightning stopped in midair, and 2 of the 5 bolts shattered on the spot. The remaining 3 bolts also stopped attacking, flickering in midair. It's effective. Lin Moyu was overjoyed. Then let's do it again. His aura instantly rose, breaking through to the 4th stage of the God Sovereign. Then his soul collapsed, the giant tree of talent swayed, and in the purple light, Lin Moyu's soul was instantly reconstituted, returning to its peak. He actively sought death once to replenish his soul power. Without hesitation, Lin Moyu once again used the origin spell, pulling himself back to the 3rd stage of the God Sovereign. Following the same method, the 2nd soul arrow appeared on the soul bow. Lin Moyu drew the soul extinguishing rune and attached it to the soul arrow. Unfortunately, this time there was no power of faith, so this arrow was not as powerful as the previous one. But similarly, the yellow sand giant beast was already injured and not as strong as before. The purple gold soul arrow once again pierced through the void, directly hitting the soul of the yellow sand giant beast. Another scream, and the yellow sand giant beast's aura became even weaker. 2 more bolts of the remaining 3 bolts of lightning shattered, leaving only 1. Lin Moyu took a deep breath. At this point, he had no way out. He had to kill to the end. Lin Moyu once again elevated his realm, actively self-destructing his soul. The talent activated again, reviving Lin Moyu for the 2nd time. Since refining the sapling of the undying tree, he had gained an extra chance to revive. He could revive twice every 30 seconds, and after the last revival, the talent would reset, giving him 2 more chances to revive. The ability to revive was generally only used in desperate situations. But now, to repel the yellow sand giant beast, Lin Moyu used it decisively. He was really fighting with all his might. In the origin spell, Lin Moyu's aura once again rose to the 3rd stage of the God Sovereign. The soul bow recondensed the soul arrow. The yellow sand giant beast's eye pierced through the layers of the Undead Legion, seeing Lin Moyu. Its eye was filled with anger and hatred. But so what? Lin Moyu didn't care at all. The soul arrow formed on the soul bow, and the yellow sand giant beast let out a furious roar. All the yellow sand on the planet surged up, and the entire planet was shrouded in a sandstorm. The yellow sand giant beast exploded, and one eye flew into the sandstorm and disappeared. Escaped? You can't escape. The soul arrow flashed with purple light and disappeared into the void. The yellow sand giant beast escaped, abandoning its body, with only a single eye fleeing. The yellow sand covered the sky, and it abandoned its massive form. Even the Undead Legion couldn't stop it. However, the soul lock still existed, and the mark had not disappeared. Lin Moyu still firmly locked onto its soul and shot the 3rd arrow. The soul arrow traversed the void, leaving only a trace of purple light before disappearing. A scream echoed throughout the entire star system, audible even within the formation. Lin Moyu breathed a sigh of relief, finally resolving the issue. Compared to stalling for time, being able to drive it away was naturally the best outcome. Suddenly, Lin Moyu's hair stood on end, and a severe warning came from his soul. The giant tree of talent swayed incessantly, and the 9-colored dragon soul crystal roared. Danger! Deadly danger! The soul heard the intense heartbeat of the yellow sand giant beast, and then bright yellow lightning appeared before his eyes. 5 bolts of lightning, 4 had collapsed, but the last one still remained. The eye of the yellow sand giant beast had escaped, but the lightning had not disappeared and still hovered in midair. At this moment, accompanied by the heartbeat of the yellow sand giant beast, the lightning suddenly activated, piercing through one skeleton after another, shooting straight towards Lin Moyu. Careless. Without thinking, Lin Moyu rapidly retreated, summoning a large number of skeletons to serve as meat shields to block the lightning. The skeletons were pierced by the lightning and collapsed on the spot. However, the lightning seemed unaffected, rapidly approaching Lin Moyu. The power of the lightning was too strong for the skeletons to block. The meat shield tactic he was skilled in was completely ineffective. This bolt of lightning carried the power of rules, with an attack power at least at the 8th stage of the God Sovereign, possibly even higher. The skeletons couldn't block it, and neither could he. If hit, he would undoubtedly die. His talent for revival had already been exhausted, and even if he had more chances, they would likely be ineffective. Based on the previous performance of the bright yellow lightning, it could attack repeatedly. The skeletons were killed again and again, and even if they revived, they would be killed again. In this life and death moment, Lin Moyu's thoughts raced, considering all possible self-rescue methods. In the next second, the scourge staff appeared in his hand. Lin Moyu knew very well that only the scourge staff might be able to block the bright yellow lightning. He couldn't fully unleash the true power of the scourge staff, but using it as a stick was no problem. Seeing the lightning approaching, Lin Moyu unhesitatingly swung the scourge staff to collide with the lightning. Boom! With a loud explosion, the lightning burst apart. Yellow filled his vision, and he could see nothing else. Lin Moyu was blasted away by an unimaginably immense force. He was directly blown out of the planet, flying tens of thousands of kilometers into the star system. Seeing the yellow sand flowing like a river of stars around him, Lin Moyu felt a surge of joy. He wasn't dead, he had really blocked the lightning. Looking at the scourge staff, there wasn't even a mark on it. The sturdiness of the scourge staff far exceeded expectations. This also indicated that the level of the scourge staff was absurdly high. Putting away the scourge staff, Lin Moyu flew back. The sandstorm on the planet continued, and the explosion of the lightning had sent the yellow sand of the planet into the starry sky. Even the yellow sand beneath the time formation was swept away, revealing the true ground. The entire planet now appeared grayish-white. With the yellow sand gone, Lin Moyu finally saw the formation clearly. The time formation was actually a circular formation, with the time house and the control hall built on a disc. The disc was the formation plate, responsible for bearing the formation. Below the formation, a massive yellow heart was beating. Each beat didn't release blood but yellow sand. And it wasn't ordinary yellow sand, it was yellow sand containing extremely strong energy. The formation refined the yellow sand released by the heart, producing yellow crystals, and then transferred the useless yellow sand away. For countless years, the heart of a Beyond Realm star beast had been used as a material collector. It beat continuously, and the formation continuously refined and collected. It was indeed a kind of sorrow. Lin Moyu returned, and the heartbeat of the yellow sand giant beast quickened noticeably. Anger emanated from it, but it was helpless against Lin Moyu. The formation firmly suppressed it, and with this failed escape, it would have no more chances. The human Beyond Realm experts must have received the news and might be on their way. By then, the formation would be reinforced, and it would be suppressed here for millions of years. Even the single eye that escaped would be found and destroyed. The crisis was over, but the Undead Legion still remained. He wouldn't recall the Undead Legion until the human reinforcements arrived. Relaxing was fine, but he couldn't let his guard down. Unexpected events often occur when one relaxes. Lin Moyu began to review the previous battle. He and the eye of the yellow sand giant beast had fought for less than a minute. Especially when he shot 3 arrows in succession, the entire process took less than 5 seconds. The battle was extremely intense, with every second being a life and death struggle. Lin Moyu realized that when facing a true powerhouse, various tactics were actually useless. In the end, it all came down to strength. If the yellow sand giant beast had more than just an eye and its realm hadn't fallen, he would have been dead. He recalled what Bai Yiyuan had once said, "A bigger fist is the hard truth. Everything else is fake." In fact, this was true. Whether in the great world or the small world, reality was equally cruel. Besides realizing that his fist wasn't big enough, Lin Moyu also felt the role of the power of faith. Without the power of faith, the first arrow wouldn't have caused enough damage to the remnant soul of the yellow sand giant beast. Then the next 2 arrows might not have scared it away. However, the power of faith also had its limitations. It was limited in quantity and had diminishing returns. The greater the desired amplification, the exponentially more power of faith was required. 10,000 units of the power of faith could double the amplification. To triple the amplification, 30,000 units were needed. To quadruple the amplification, 60,000 units were needed. If one wanted to amplify 4 or 5 times, the required power of faith would increase significantly. As far as Lin Moyu knew, after reaching a 10-fold amplification, the required power of faith would increase exponentially. Moreover, the stronger the attack itself, the more power of faith was needed. Lin Moyu knew very well that the soul arrow he had condensed with all his might had an attack power only at the level of the 4th to 5th stage of the God Sovereign. If it were an attack from the Beyond Realm, even 60,000 units of the power of faith might not provide a single amplification. 60,000 units of the power of faith, at the current collection rate, would take a full 600 days to gather. The collection speed was extremely slow. The power of faith is really something you can't have too much of. No wonder those Beyond Realm experts want to establish towers of faith across the entire star domain. Their spells must require astronomical amounts of the power of faith. After reviewing the entire battle, Lin Moyu felt he had done quite well, with few oversights. The only mistake was the last lightning bolt, where he was too careless. He needed to correct this in the future. Time passed bit by bit, and the heartbeat of the yellow sand giant beast gradually slowed, becoming calm. 30 minutes later, a vast aura descended, enveloping the entire star system. The sudden aura was very gentle and did not carry a heavy pressure. Lin. Just as the aura descended, the heartbeat of the yellow sand beast instantly calmed down, and all the flying yellow sand fell back to the ground at this moment. It was like an invisible big hand, smoothing out all the restlessness. Lin Moyu looked towards the horizon, his gaze passing through the starry sky, and saw a powerful figure stepping on the void and coming. A second ago he was outside the star system, and after one step, he had already arrived on the planet. The Paramita realm has indeed come. Lin Moyu was not surprised. He had already thought before that there might be a Paramita realm powerhouse coming over. The next second, a middle-aged man with an ordinary appearance and nothing extraordinary appeared on the Time Grand formation. He lightly pressed his hand on the formation, and the entire formation immediately rumbled. Accompanied by a reluctant soul sound, the heartbeat disappeared, and the yellow sand beast was completely suppressed. The power of rules. 110, Lin Moyu silently recited in his heart. He could clearly feel the change in the laws. Even the law of time, at that moment just now, had stagnated. The law of time was already a first-tier law, and the only thing that could affect it was the power of rules at the Paramita realm. Lin Moyu knew that the other party had used the power of rules, but he didn't know exactly how he did it. After all, he was not yet at the Paramita realm, so he only knew what it was, but not why. Some things, if the realm is not reached, will never be understood. Several god venerables flew out of the palace one after another, leaving the Time Grand formation, and at the same time saluting the middle-aged man. Greetings, senior. The middle-aged man nodded and said in a calm tone, neither hurried nor slow, you've worked hard. The few people hurriedly shook their heads. It's not hard, this is what we should do. Jian Shen said, fortunately, this time we had the help of this young friend, otherwise things would have been troublesome. Although they didn't know what happened outside after entering the palace. But using your brain to think about it, you would know that Lin Moyu must have blocked those sand beasts. The faces of the few god venerables were a little pale. They didn't expect that in the end they would rely on a junior at the God King realm. It was really embarrassing for the god venerables. The middle-aged man looked at Lin Moyu. I roughly know what happened. You were also lucky to happen to meet young friend Lin here. Then he looked at Lin Moyu again. Young friend Lin, would you please come over for a chat? The tone of the two sentences before and after was completely different. When speaking to the god venerables, his tone was calm and unperturbed, with a hint of majesty. Maintaining the proper attitude of a Paramita realm big shot. But when speaking to Lin Moyu, his tone suddenly softened. It didn't seem like the attitude a Paramita realm expert should have towards a God King realm. It was more like talking to an equal. Lin Moyu naturally wouldn't refuse. Since senior has ordered, this junior will obey. The middle-aged man laughed. Then let's go up. With that, he flew straight up, and Lin Moyu immediately followed. In the blink of an eye, the two had reached the starry sky. Seeing the two leave, the few god venerables were a little dazed. Did you hear that? Just now senior called him young friend Lin. Looking at Senior's attitude, it seems like he's treating this young brother as an equal. Senior treating a God King as an equal feels a bit unreal. This Lin God King's strength is very strong, not inferior to ours. Maybe it's because of this kind of top genius that Senior is willing to lower his stance. The few of them knew the identity of the middle-aged man, a Parameter Realm bigshot treating a God King as an equal. Just thinking about it felt a bit unbelievable. The Parameter Realm was a truly top existence, with an extremely noble identity. Jian Shen suddenly frowned. Recently, wasn't there a junior named Lin Moyu who successively cleared 3 secret realms, do you think? Lin Moyu's surname is Lin, and young friend Lin's surname is also Lin. As soon as Jian Shen said this, it matched up. It's actually him, no wonder. A genius who can clear 3 secret realms is indeed extraordinary. If he can reach the Parameter Realm one day, that would be incredible. The few of them sighed. Having lived for so many years, they had seen many geniuses. Even they themselves were considered geniuses when they were young. But compared to Lin Moyu, whether it was themselves or other people they had seen, they all paled in comparison. In the starry sky, the middle-aged man looked at Lin Moyu with a smile. Young friend Lin is indeed a young talent, using the God King realm to single-handedly block the sand beasts. I'm afraid in the entire great world, no one can be found to be comparable to young friend Lin. Lin Moyu was very humble. Senior praises too much, this junior was just lucky. The middle-aged man's attitude was extremely good. Strength is strength, how can it be called luck? This old man's surname is Song, with a single character Jia. Young friend Lin's soul has reached the Parameter Realm, so he can be considered half a Parameter Realm expert. We can treat each other as equals. Lin Moyu said, Senior Song, what do you plan to do next? Song Jia said in a low voice, nothing more than reinforcing the formation to prevent this from happening again. Lin Moyu showed a bit of strangeness. The eyes of the yellow sand beast escaped, containing its remnant soul. Does Senior Song not plan to find it? As long as the eyes of the yellow sand beast were still out there, things like today could still possibly happen. If someone else dared to say this, Song Jia would definitely say, does this old man need you to teach him how to handle matters? But when Lin Moyu said this, Song Jia laughed and said, young friend Lin doesn't know, it's not that we don't want to find it, but that we can't find it. It wouldn't be difficult to find it. You also know that with the Emperor's network, it has nowhere to escape. Lin Moyu nodded. That was indeed the case. Under the surveillance of the Emperor's network, no matter how well the other party hid, they could always be found. Since that was the case, these Parameter Realm bigshots letting it off must have had other reasons. Song Jia explained, back then, when the yellow sand beast was killed, its flesh and soul were each split in 2, with the eyes and heart each occupying half. In this way, the yellow sand beast retained the possibility of resurrection. If we destroy its eyes, leaving only half a soul in its heart, then it will forever lose the possibility of resurrection. Lin Moyu suddenly realized something. If there is no possibility of resurrection, then the yellow sand beast might choose to self-destruct. I observed that the formation has been refining something. Is it for it? Song Jia praised again. Young friend Lin is indeed smart. The yellow sand beast is a Parameter Realm starry beast. Its heart will continuously produce power of rules. We use the formation to refine the power of rules it produces into rule crystals. As for the specific use, when you reach the Parameter Realm in the future, you will naturally know. Lin Moyu nodded, knowing that this information was already enough. If Song Jia explained to him what the power of rules was, he definitely wouldn't understand, so there was no need to know. Some things can't be understood just by explaining, they need to be comprehended by oneself. Song Jia said, this time, young friend Lin has made a great contribution, otherwise countless people of the human race would have died. According to the rules of the human race, there will be a reward for young friend. I don't know what young friend needs, as long as it's within the scope of the rules, it can be provided. Lin Moyu knew that what he did this time was equivalent to saving the lives of countless people. It also avoided a disaster, so getting some rewards was inevitable. Generally speaking, this kind of reward is just merits in the Divine City, but unexpectedly there was actually a choice. In Lin Moyu's speculation, whether it was the Human Emperor Network or the Beyond Realm, they were both extremely powerful entities. Lin. Especially the Human Emperor Network, which operated according to strict rules, rewarding merit and punishing faults. It could be described as impartial and just. Even the Beyond Realm could only maneuver slightly within the rules and could not violate them. The rewards from the Human Emperor Network were basically Divine City merit points. If you needed anything else, you could exchange it with the merit points. But according to Song Jia, besides choosing Divine City merit points, Lin Moyu could also select other items. Directly choosing rewards meant skipping the step of exchanging merit points. Moreover, Song Jia subtly hinted that directly choosing rewards might be more advantageous. Lin Moyu thought for a moment and then said, "Senior, I don't know what to choose. Could you help me decide?" Song Jia looked at Lin Moyu with a smile. By saying this, Lin Moyu had thrown the problem back to him. As a senior in the Beyond Realm, he couldn't choose something useless. But if he chose something too good, it would violate the rules of the Human Emperor Network. However, it didn't matter. He could give something to Lin Moyu in his personal capacity, considering it as making friends with this genius. Lin Moyu, under Song Jia's gaze, remained calm and composed, fully displaying his thick-skinned nature. Song Jia chuckled, "Since you let me decide, let's do it this way. You still need the Divine City merit points because you are only at the beginner level and need them to upgrade. Madam Yu gave you the soul bow, so you don't lack soul treasures. For attack, you should focus on quality rather than quantity, so you don't need other attack treasures. For defense, with so many summons, it's almost impossible for someone of the same level to hurt you. So, let's choose some auxiliary items." Song Jia spoke to himself and quickly made a decision. Lin Moyu listened carefully, and no matter what Song Jia chose, he wouldn't object. Song Jia would only give more, not less, and it would definitely be the maximum allowed by the rules. Song Jia closed his eyes and communicated with the Human Emperor Network. A few seconds later, the voice of the Human Emperor Network sounded in his ear. For repelling the yellow sand giant beast and preventing its resurrection, thereby saving the nearby star systems, you are awarded 2,000 Divine City merit points. For killing a God Sovereign level sand beast, you are awarded 10 Divine City merit points. For killing 50,000 God King level sand beasts, you are awarded 50 million points. For killing 500 minor God Sovereign level sand beasts, you are awarded 5 million points. After a series of rewards, Lin Moyu felt that he had gained a lot this time. He had long known that the Human Emperor Network would not miss a single sand beast he killed, and they would all be converted into points and rewards. Sure enough, he instantly gained 55 million points, and his points exceeded 100 million again. Finally, I have some points again. Lin Moyu felt his pockets were a bit fuller, and he finally had some money again. At least it was enough to use in the time house. His Divine City merit points also reached 5,390, not far from the intermediate level. As for the task of advancing to the intermediate level, Lin Moyu was never worried. Song Jia looked at Lin Moyu's changing expression and smiled. "Have you received the rewards?" Lin Moyu smiled. "Thank you, Senior. I have received them." "Then let's continue. For the second reward, I chose the Tower of Faith for you." Lin Moyu was slightly stunned. The Tower of Faith? Could this be considered a reward? He could set up a faith array himself, which was no different from the Tower of Faith. However, he didn't say anything and waited for Song Jia to explain further. Song Jia said, "You are already qualified to establish a Tower of Faith and receive the Power of Faith. As a reward, I have chosen 10 star systems for you. The Power of Faith from these 10 star systems will belong to you. 10 star systems can provide you with about 100 units of the Power of Faith every day. As for refining it, you will have to handle it yourself." After hearing Song Jia's explanation, Lin Moyu realized that the reward of the Tower of Faith meant this. He was allocated 10 star systems, which could provide him with 100 units of the Power of Faith every day. Combined with the Power of Faith he already obtained, he could receive 200 units of the Power of Faith every day. Those who had used the Power of Faith knew how useful it was. Looking at the Towers of Faith set up by the Beyond Realm experts in every star system, every planet, and every city, one could see how much they needed the Power of Faith. He only got 10 star systems, but those Beyond Realm experts each had countless star systems, receiving an astonishing amount of the Power of Faith every day. Even with Lin Moyu's temperament, he couldn't help but feel a bit envious. If he had that much Power of Faith, he might have been able to kill the remnant soul of the yellow sand giant beast with one arrow. Song Jia saw through Lin Moyu's thoughts and smiled. "Don't think too much. In the future, your Towers of Faith will increase. 10 star systems are nothing, even 10,000 star systems are nothing. But if you want to have more Towers of Faith, you know what to do." Lin Moyu naturally understood. It was nothing more than improving his strength and contributing to the human race. The human race was like this, clear in rewards and punishments. If you wanted to gain, you had to give first, which was very fair. There was almost no such thing as getting something for nothing in the human race. Song Jia said, "The third reward is my personal gift to you." He took out a jade piece, and as it appeared, the surrounding space distorted strongly. The jade piece was incredibly heavy, almost collapsing the space. Song Jia said, I personally want to thank you. The yellow sand giant beast was under my watch. If something went wrong, it would be my fault. This time, you helped suppress the yellow sand giant beast, so I owe you a favor. This piece of fragmented space jade contains a fragment of an ancient talisman. By using soul power and the power of faith together, you can unleash one attack. With your soul power and 10,000 units of the power of faith, you should be able to unleash an attack comparable to the peak of the God's sovereign realm. But it can only be used once a day, so don't rely on it too much. Lin Moyu took the fragmented space jade and infused his soul power into it, indeed seeing a fragment of an ancient talisman sealed inside. The ancient talisman exuded a heavy aura, and the fragmented space jade's ability to collapse space was entirely due to this fragment. Just looking at it made Lin Moyu feel a sharp pain, and his soul power was rapidly consumed. Apart from the fragment of the ancient talisman in his soul, other ancient talismans were not something he could touch. Comparing it, the fragment of the ancient talisman in his soul was indeed very special. In Lin Moyu's view, this jade piece was extremely valuable. It was a true life-saving treasure, with the only drawback being that it could only be used once a day. Moreover, in the future, when his realm was sufficient, he could study the ancient talisman inside. Thank you, Senior. Lin Moyu sincerely thanked Song Jia for the precious gift. Song Jia nodded. Lastly, the talisman sovereign asked me to convey a message to you. Lin Moyu perked up. Please go ahead, Senior.